Hello everybody, welcome to the Miles the Man CorrinQuest instruction video. If you already know what a CorrinQuest is and you'd like to participate, there's a link in the description and a Google Doc for you to fill out. I hope to see you there. But if you don't know what a CorrinQuest is, or you want a video walkthrough of how to get through the Google Doc, keep watching. A CorrinQuest is named after the main character in Fire Emblem Fates, Corrin. What a CorrinQuest refers to is a playthrough using as many of those units as possible. Traditionally, these are provided by other players through online services. However, since the Red Sega people turned off the servers, the only way to do these is to create every single character from scratch by customizing the character, then playing the first 5 levels of the game for every single character, then trading them using the 3DS Street Pass feature. Or in my case, a save editor! By using this save editor, I can do many different things, all of which just make it easier for me to create new characters, so that's what I'm going to be using. To join, simply click the link in the description of this video that leads to the Google Doc form. Once you have it filled out, just submit your character, and once there's room, I'll add them to the game. If you need extra help or have any questions, leave them in the comments or join the Miles Smiles Discord channel, which is also in the description, under the Google Doc. So, here's the part where I take you through the submission form and show you how it's all done. So first thing is character name. It can be whatever you want. Please don't write anything offensive, anything that's going to get me banned on stream, nothing like that. Just your character's name. Not your name, your character's name. Next up, so let's just do Miles the Man. As far as I'm aware, spaces are okay, underscores are okay, all that stuff is fine. Body type, we've got male short, male tall, female short, and female tall. Whatever you prefer. Hair type. So we've got 1 through 12, and both. This applies to both. So male will have 1 through 12, female will have 1 through 12. Let's just pick hair 1 for now. Then we have our hair color. You can pick any of these: white, red, orange, yellow, green, teal, blue, purple, pink, and brown. These are the default colors shown in the game. However, if you would like a custom hair color, pick whatever's closest to it, like a green, put in a hexadecimal code. So, let's say, for example, you would like a specific type of green, then you just open a new page, do color to hexadecimal, pick your specific color, put that code in here, and that code will look something like it'll look something like 4E55 D6, something like that. Something like this is what it would look like. Hair accessories. So this only works for female characters. Male characters do not get any hair accessories. I don't know why. It's how the game works. So my character I chose up here is male tall. So I would just click my Corrin is male, which means I do not get a hair clip. Female characters, you can pick any of the 1 through 5. Go blame Nintendo, not me. Facial features. So we have a cheek scar, the under-over-eye scar, nose scar, a cheek tattoo, a double cheek tattoo, freckle under the eye, freckle by chin, a cheek bandage, a nose bandage, a white eye patch, a black eye patch, or nothing. Then we have our character voices. There is a YouTube link here. You can just right-click, open a new tab, open link in a new tab, copy, paste, whatever you want to do. There is a reference here for different characters. You've got young, standard, mature. This is all for males and females as well. Character birthday. Please use day-month format. So, for example, 01-/12 would be the 1st of December. I would like it to be the same way. I do have one person who put theirs in backwards. Fortunately, it was 22, so I know there's not a 22nd month, which isn't a thing. So for example, today's date is February 7th. It's very early. This is when I do things. So February 7th on here would be 07, and then divide or slash, and it would be 02. So it's the 7th of February. That would be today. Character boon, bonus stats. This is what you will get more of as your character levels up. Health is health, strength is physical attack, magic is magical attack, or special attack if you come from like Pokemon or something. Skill affects your accuracy and your crit rate. Speed affects how many times you can hit your opponent, up to twice. If you have 5 speed more than your opponent, you'll hit them twice. If they have 5 speed more than you, they'll hit you twice. Otherwise, if it's anywhere else in there, then it's the same. 1 attack for each. I think speed also affects your chance to completely dodge attacks. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not a Fire Emblem genius by any means. I'm just using my knowledge of the games for what I've seen. Luck is generally considered the worst stat. It kind of has little effects on everything, but not as strong as the main stats. I know luck can affect hit rate, it can affect crit rate, it can affect avoid rate, but it's by very small amounts. So unless you're making a joke character, I would not recommend making your character boon luck. Then we have defense, which is for physical attacks, and it helps you resist them, and resistance, which helps you resist magical attacks. So for this character, I'm not going to submit this character, but for example, if I want to make a guy who's really good at just stopping all those frontliners from charging, I'll pick defense, be like that tank in the front row. So now we have the character Bane, which is malice stats, or penalties, if you prefer. This cannot be the same as above, so I cannot pick defense and defense. That does not work. If you do that, I'll pick your stats randomly. You cannot, they cannot be the same. So if I wanted to be a physical tank, I could do minus resistance. So I'm weak to magic attacks, but I'm really strong against physical attacks. You can also do luck, speed, skill, whatever you want. But I would not recommend doing health. Health is probably not a good idea to have there, because everybody needs health. You can if you want to. It's up to you. You can make these however you want, but if this is your first time making a character, I would probably recommend, again, using luck as your negative stat. It generally isn't crazy useful. Or let's say you want your boon to be magic, because you want to be like a magic user. You could make your malice strength, because you're not going to need strength. You're using magic to attack the enemies. That would be fine. So next we have talent. A talent is basically a little bonus that the Corrin character gets, which allows them to reclass into other skills and have just more options to reclass to. So I have a whole bunch of things here with all of their, with a little mini explanation. So a samurai, also called a myrmidon in game, has high speed and skill. So they'll strike fast and they'll strike, well, more often they'll have crits than other characters. An archer has ranged utility, so they can attack from 2 tiles away instead of 1, and that's how they do most of their damage. If they get hit up close, they usually can't attack back unless they have a special bow. Wyvern Rider, they have high strength and they have flight, so they can go over other terrain that would slow down other characters. However, every flying unit is weak to bows. Bows will do triple damage to you, so you gotta be careful about that. Well, I had to be careful about that. But you can make whatever you want. We have a Cavalier, kind of all around balanced, but in my games they tend to be more of the, not really the frontliners, but not really the hang back. They're kind of like the middle people who can like dash all around, because they have very high movement. So they can dash to the front lines if they need help, they can dash to the back lines if they need help. And Cavaliers also have a bonus ability. Actually, no, they don't. The Paladin, I think, has this ability to pull another person into them, and they can kind of group up to keep them safe if they need to. Then we have the Dark Mage, which has very high magic, but very squishy. They generally have pretty high magic, but kind of low health. So they're kind of a glass cannon. They'll hit you really hard, but they get slapped in the face and they'll fall over dead. The Troubadour. This is a healer unit, but they're mounted. So they can move really fast, but just be aware, this unit cannot attack. The only way they can get experience is by healing, until they reach a high enough level to where they can promote, and then they can start doing damage. But I'll never say no to a healer. Then we have the Sky Knight. They are again a flying mounted unit, and they focus on speed and resistance. They hit hard, and they don't get hit by magic very hard. In my last playthrough, I had Hinoka, who was a promoted Sky Knight, who was almost immune to magic at the late game. There was hardly any magic that could touch her. But physical attacks, that's another issue. Then we have the Shrine Maiden, also called Cleric in some other places. They focus on magic and resistance. So they focus on getting more magical attacks and also keeping themselves safe. Shrine Maidens also can use staves to heal as well. So they're primarily healers, I believe they can't do damage immediately. They need to promote like the Troubadour does to be able to start doing damage. Then we have an Apothecary. They are a little bit of an oddity because they are bow users who have high defense, which is really odd when you think about it. It's a defensive bow user, which is a really interesting class. They also have the ability to make medicine more useful, but I believe it's only to themselves. So you just have to keep that in mind. A little bit selfish, but they do make healing items and generally just consumables more usable. Then we have the Monk and the Priest. They focus on magic and resistance, which again allows them to be stronger on the magic side and pretty tanky to magical attacks. Those are two classes actually. Why are they grouped up together? Those are two different. I should have changed that. I believe, or is that a gender thing? That might be. I might have to double check that one. We'll see. Then we have the Ninja, who has speed and kind of utility. The utility part is more so their skills, because they get the ability Lock Touch, which allows them to open chests and doors without keys, which basically just ends up saving me money and hassle from having to make sure that I have those items in my caravan. They're also, with the speed part, they're very fast. They will often double the enemy and not get doubled themselves. They also have shurikens, which, if a shuriken hits an enemy unit, will lower its stats by a small amount. So they're a little bit more like of a support unit than an actual going in, getting 3 assassinations, and then running away like a D&D rogue, for example. I use them a lot more as utility, so there's a really tough enemy that I can't hit, I'll throw a shuriken at him with the ninja, then have the ninja back off a little bit and have my heavy hitters come on in and swarm the guy. Then we have a knight. This is your standard big, burly, frontline, high defense, you're not getting past me. Their weakness is, of course, magic, because why is it not? Gotta have a weakness. But even still, very high defense, very high health, very hard to get through. Then we have the fighter. They focus on strength and hit points. So that basically comes down to, I hit you hard, and I have a lot of health to take it, but they generally have lower skill. So they can hit hard if they hit. Then we have the mercenary, who's kind of a balanced unit, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. They're not crazy good at one way or the other. I find that mercenaries are generally fairly useful in the early game, especially because they don't have any glaring weaknesses. So I don't have to be like, oh, well, I can't move this guy up because they have a mage. I can't move this guy up because they have an archer. Whereas the mercenary, I can just kind of go, yeah, sure, go in, sword boy. And then we have the outlaw. I don't remember the outlaw. I really don't. Let me look this up. Who's an outlaw? Oh, it's Anna and Niles. No wonder I didn't use them. So the outlaw is a bow user who specializes in speed and utility. Again, kind of like the ninja, to kind of chip away enemies or buff allies in some sort of way to help your team just stay strong altogether. Now we have our starting weapons. So this is a little trickier because every single class will have a different weapon they can use. If you're not sure which starting weapon you want, like if you don't know what all this means, you can just pick me a random one. I'll probably just give you the base weapon of what your class can use. But let's say, for example, you're a sword user and you pick the Raider Yumi. I'll give you the Raider Katana, because the Raider Katana is the same version of that weapon that can be used by a sword user. If you accidentally pick the wrong one, I'll just give you the right one of the correct class that you can choose. So don't be too stressed when it comes to that. Just make sure you got whatever is good. Or just give me a random one. I will literally spin a wheel and you'll pick that one. So, the next section here is starting stats. You can have 70 points in total to allocate however you wish. Now, you have to check this box. I understand my health must be at least 1. If you make your health 0, I will not make your character. Because your character is dead. Your starting health must be at least 1. So you have to do 1 for sure. Also, don't do this. I will pick the lowest number for everything if you do that. Please don't do that. I don't want your character to die. So then we have we've got our health, strength, magic, skill, speed, luck, defense, and resistance. You will have to do a little bit of math here, and make sure you look at the scroll bar. There is a scroll bar at the bottom here. You can go up to a maximum of 20. So if I were to do 20, 20, 20, that's 60 points, meaning that I could do like 10 speed, and then 0 for everything else. Which I believe you also can't do. I think every single stat has to be at least 1. Which would mean your speed has to be down by 4, so your speed would be 6. Like, you can do that. I just wouldn't recommend it. It's not going to be great. You're going to be very strong. You're going to be very healthy. You're going to hit things decently. But you're going to die in one hit because you've got no defense and no resistance. So then we have our starting skills. You have a total of 4 points to spend on your skills. All the point costs are over here in the chart, and the point costs are here on the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There is nothing in 7 currently. This list may be adjusted before we begin the session. If it does get adjusted, it will be changed here, and anyone with skills that are affected by this, I will notify, let you know that something has changed. So, for example, if I wanted to get anything down here, so these like +2s over here at the bottom, if I wanted those, they would cost 1 point each. So I could get 4 of them in total. If I wanted to get something in the 2, I could only get 2 of them, and then that's it. I have no more. If I wanted to get something in 3, then I could get 1 3 and a single 1. 4 is 4. Basic math. However, there are a couple of special rules we put in here for skills that work very, very good together. So, picking both Gentilhomme and Demoiselle uses an extra point. Those skills are this pink heart down here, and this blue heart over here. What those do is those reduce damage to male allies and female allies by 2, respectively. However, when you use them together, it means that every single one of your allies within 2 spaces takes 2 less damage from everything. So they're very useful together. So that's why when you take them together, they cost 1 extra point. So it would cost you 3 of your 4 points instead of 2 of your 4 points. Then we have picking both Even Better and Better Odds uses an extra point, costing 5 instead of 4. So Even Better is this like swirl over here, and Better Odds is this like green swipe over here. Now what those ones do is they give you +40, they heal you for 40% of your maximum health at the start of your turn. Using one of them is okay, because it's every other turn. The enemy still has a chance to hit you in between those turns, and I have to be careful. If you get 40% of your max health every single turn for just existing, that is incredibly powerful and costs 5 points. So technically you cannot start with both of those. However, as the game progresses, you will get more. There are more rules on the community Discord that I will go over afterward. Once we're done all this, I will show you those. So how you, as ways to get extra skill points and such. Then we have 2 more rules. One is having the lethality skill makes Quixotic and Hoshiden Unity cost 1 extra point each. So lethality is here in 5, and basically that allows you to instantly kill a character. It has a very low % chance to hit, but it is incredibly, incredibly powerful because it works on bosses, except for the final boss. I think he's immune, if I remember. Is he? I think he is. I'm pretty sure the final boss is immune to that, but it allows you to instant kill any other character in the game. So the point of having Quixotic, and Hoshiden Unity, which I believe are both 3 costs? Yeah, Hoshiden Unity is here, and Quixotic is here. Those ones give you flat % increases to skills activating, which works on lethality. So they give 10 and 15% respectively. So giving a plus 10% to kill any unit at any time is incredibly powerful. So in order to take both of those skills, you would have to pay a total of 8 skill points, which is possible, but it's only really achievable in the late game, after everything else happens. Because if you have lethality and you want to get the other one, it costs more. If you have Hoshiden Unity or Quixotic, lethality then also costs 1 extra. So having that extra goes both ways. So if I have lethality or quixotic or Hoshidan Unity, they make the other tiers cost more. So having Hoshidan Unity makes lethality cost more, but it does not make quixotic cost more. That's because those are not linked. Then our final skill is the rally skills, cost 1 extra each after the second one. That is all these swirls here, so like this orange swirl, this red one, this green one, this purple one, this blue one, this dark blue one, and also this yellow one down here in tier 2, and this brown one in tier 2. So you can make a rally bot. Oh, also it affects this rainbow one at the top in number 5. That one is affected as well. So having rally bots is pretty insane, as I discovered in my last playthrough. So we decided that you can have 2 rallies, and that's fine. So you could have this yellow one for luck, and let's say this green one for speed. You could have 2 of those, and you're fine. If you want to grab a 3rd rally, that costs you an extra point. It doesn't matter if the skill is active or in your reserve, it still costs extra, so I will have to look at these as we go along. Then we have our format. Please use the format skill name, point cost, next skill, point cost. So let's say I want to purchase this green sparkle. So if I don't know what it's called, I go to the skill page, I go over here, and I go find that green sparkle over here on the left. That is I know it's a Hoshidan class, and I know it's called Relief. So it will be, oh, I missed it. Where did it go? Is it not a Hoshidan class thing? Okay, let's pick a different one. So let's go back up to here. So tier 3, Hoshidan Unity, this yellow target thing. So Hoshidan Unity, that's what it's called. So I would put down here Hoshidan Unity, and then I would use any bracket, which you can use this one, you can use that one, you can use a square bracket, whichever one you want, as long as it's the same. And then I would do 3 cost, and then close bracket. So that means I have 1 point left. Then I would go to the bottom here, and I would say, you know what, let's take this lock touch. This one right here, this key. Then I would do lock touch, and I would do bracket, 1 cost, and close bracket. That is just to help me read it, so I can make your characters easier. Because if you just type in Hoshidan Unity and lock touch like this, or you do it worse and you don't put spaces in there, that's going to be really hard for me to read. So by putting those cost points in there, you help me find it on the chart and verify that yes, you can have those skills. And then this bottom one is just any sort of comments that you have, questions or comments, you can put it there. You can also just put it, I would rather you put it in the Discord or in the comments of this YouTube video. Discord's probably better because there's people who know way more about Fire Emblem than I do in there. So you just click the community Discord link, it'll bring you right there. Speaking of the community Discord, there are a few extra things to add that were not put in that forum. We have characters start with 4 skill points at chapter 6. This is the starting chapter. I will do the pre-made stuff, everything will start at chapter 6. Then you will gain 1 skill point every 3 chapters. You can use this skill point to buy new skills as we go along, or if your character dies and I ask you to make a new one, you will then start with 1 extra skill point for every 3 chapters. So for example, when we finish, we start at chapter 6, so chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8. When chapter 8 is finished and we're on chapter 9, you would start with 5 skill points. I have another addendum, which makes it stronger if I don't just throw away characters. If a character survives 5 chapters, they will gain a bonus skill point to spend. This is just to help incentivize me to keep characters alive, rather than going, oh, whatever, you'll just make another character. So it incentivizes me to keep characters alive, it rewards me for keeping characters alive, and it may even reward people who make goofy characters. Your character survives? Well, now you can put another goofy point in something else. Then we have characters will start with 70 points that wish to be allocated for stat points, which we covered. All your stats, like your health, your strength, your magic, all that stuff. And you will begin at level 5. And you also gain 1 level and 4 stat points every chapter. So on average, 1 level will get you about 3 to 4 stat points. I decided to lean a little bit closer to 4 to make sure that characters didn't feel like they were starting too weak. and that they could catch up with the characters that have survived. So that's every single chapter. So if you make a character in, like, let's say a character dies in chapter 6, we move to chapter 7, and you want to make a new character, which means you now get to start off with 74 points in all of your stats, and you get to start at level 6. But you won't get another skill point until we finish chapter 8 and start on chapter 9. So as soon as chapter 8 is finished, and we're between there, then you can have another skill point if I ask for another character. Then also just characters can have any color they wish, as long as you give me a hexadecimal code. Then we will also have one final one here. Every 5 chapters, created unit weapon ranks increase by 1 level from E to A. They do not go to S rank. So that means just the amount of different weapons you have goes up. So E rank weapons are like the brass sword or the brass naginata or like the raider katana, things like that. When we get past 5 levels, so that would be chapter 6 is complete, 7, 8, 9, 10. After chapter 10 is complete, that unlocks starting at D rank, which means you have access to iron weapons and a couple other special ones in there. You'd also have access to the Mend Staff if you were a staff user, which is a higher base heal. So, that is it. That is the intro to the CorrinQuest. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to ask in the comments below, or join the Discord and ask there. That's it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Good luck creating your characters, and I hope to see you in March when we start the CorrinQuest. Until then, bye-bye!